we are seeing the higher taste of self-realization, text number 24. So, what is this? You anta sukho antar aramas. So, one whose happiness is within. Tatha tathantar jyoti revayah, who is active and rejoices within, and whose aim is inwardly, whose aim is inward, is actually the perfect mystic. Just like Shamik Rishi we discussed, he is liberated in the Supreme and ultimately attains the Supreme. So he just has fixed his position in Golok and he's just spending his prarabdha, he's just finishing his prarabdha. He's not accumulating any piety or impiety in this world. He knows how to live in this world and finishes and go back to God. And within that time, he is happy. He's not miserable. Otherwise, this is dukkhalayam asas. So, Parikshit Maharaj, if somebody gets cursed to die in 7 days, then somebody will be very, I mean, in a big trouble. Okay? But he has actually achieved such a stage, he was happy. Shukdev Goswami finally told him that now 7 days and 7 nights I have given you this knowledge. Now don't fear about Takshaka, final knowledge. Takshaka cannot touch you. Takshaka's poison cannot touch, cannot reach you. You are not body. So you fix your mind on Krishna. So that is what we have to relish the happiness from within. How can we retire from the external engagements? Because that is people think that that is the only way we can derive specific happiness. The liberated person enjoys happiness by factual experience. He can therefore sit silently at any place and enjoy the activities of life from within. So it is like, we should know what is the facade going on. Sometimes I have seen, and now I went somewhere. So I got down from the train and I was climbing the staircase. Then the beggar was there. And the way he was shouting, we could understand it's a facade. Oh, there is nothing in my home. And in Bombay, some beggar is saying, nothing is my home for eating. Who will believe that? Most of the beggars, they are more than those who are working in the office. Because people give. Kali Yuga, people fear what? I don't give dan, then something I'm doing. So that will come back. So anyway, so you would, and everybody knows it also. But out of say 100, 10 people will give. 90 people know this is prasad. Are you getting it? So this is a small thing. But the true intelligent person is he could see the entire facade of what is happening in the world. How we are being fooled. Taken it. And the biggest astonishment is, although we know, but still we get fooled. That is the biggest thing, isn't it? Somebody doesn't know it. Chalo, udhar gadda hai. If you don't go there, somebody falls into no teacher. Somebody knows, but one has already fallen in. Still he goes. That is the power of Maya. That's what it is said. So Maya is as powerful as Krishna. Because Krishna is not there, so there is Maya. And you can't beat her. So Daivihi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Dunate. Gunamayi means she has three powerful ropes. Mame vaye prabadante Maya metantarante. You cannot cross her. Durateya. She is very tough. She is very powerful. You cannot beat her. You cannot cross her. Only if you mame vaye prabadante. If you surrender unto me, Krishna says, Mayam etam taranti. You can cross over her. So by that he understands the tricks of Maya. What is happening? And he is seeing within. So his experience is within. So he sits silent at place and he can also be happy. Such a liberated person no longer desires external material happiness. This is called Brahma Bhuta, attaining which one is assured to going back to Godhead, back to Brahma Bhuta. So Aham Brahmasmi means that is what? If we don't, I mean, the Jnani doesn't need a body. This is the first thing, of course. So, but they are stuck there. They don't know the actual nature of soul is to serve. But even though we are focusing on this, why? Because this is very important. It is a stepping stone. This is the first stage. Even the Bhakti Yogi also have to come to this stage. He has to control his senses. Labante Brahma Nirvanam Rishya Kshina Kalmashaha Chinna Dvaida Yatatmana Sarva Bhuta Hiterata. Those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubts, whose minds are engaged within, who are always busy working for the welfare of all living beings, and who are free from all sins, achieve liberation in Supreme. So, prachar is welfare, actual welfare. Giving someone food and shelter is also it is there, but how long it will benefit that person giving food? Again, he'll be hungry. Again, he'll require food. But if we give him along with that food and clothes, if we give him the right knowledge, then how can we be Krishna conscious? How can we be really happy? And what type of work we should do? Then that will be that is real welfare work. So, what is the welfare work? We have to first get out of these doubts of the dualities. You know, doubt means if we don't see the facade, then we'll fall for that. And we know that the soul's nature, then we'll be happy within. And in that way, we will never incur sin. Our activities will not be sinful. And the sinful activities actually they will be bind us. That's why the liberation is there automatically. So Prabhupada writes that therefore to act to revive this consciousness within the entire human society is the highest welfare work. So prachar is the highest welfare work. Because then there is no need. I mean, he will understand that I should not waste my time in begging for external thing which will never always work. Let me work. Let me work. So Krishna conscious person has no doubt about the supremacy of Krishna. He has no doubt because he is completely freed from all sin. So this is state of divine love. That means unless person becomes sinless, he cannot become Krishna conscious. That means when we become Krishna conscious, we should actually become sinless. In the sense, by becoming devotee now, we should be very friendly with all living entities. What to speak of devotee? Again, so the most important quality devotee should possess is Adveshta, Sarva Bhutana, Maitra Karuna Evacha. What is what? These are the qualities Krishna likes in devotee. Adveshta, Sarva Bhutana. So how this will happen? When actually we'll believe that Krishna is supreme. Krishna says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. So we should have that conviction. Yes. So I will surrender to Krishna and I'll inspire everybody to uh, surrender to Krishna. The Prabhupada says same right that if somebody is only ministering the physical welfare of human society, he cannot actually help anyone. It's not actual help. It's a temporary help. The actual help is to bring them to have a permanent relationship with Krishna. Kama Krodha Vimuktanam Yatinam Yata Chetasam Abhito Brahma Nirvanam Vartate Viditatmanam. Those who are free from anger and all material desires, who are self-realized, self-disciplined, and constantly endeavoring for perfection, are assured of liberation in the Supreme in the very near future. Just like we have said, he has fulfilled all the requirement for entry to Goloka. So what are these? Free from anger and all material desire, calm and crude gone, self-realized, he knows who is he, he is eternal servant of Krishna. Self-disciplined, so he doesn't need any inspiration to serve Krishna. And constantly endeavoring for perfection. Whatever his stage is always is trying to become more pure. How can I become more uh, pure in conscience? So there is a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam that Yatpada Pankaja Palasha Vilasha Bhaktya Karmashayam Grahitam Udgratayanti Santah Tadvam na Rikta Matayo Yatayo Api Ruddha Shroto Ganastam Aranam Bhaja Vasudevam. Just try to worship in devotion service Vasudev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even great sages are not able to control the forces of senses as effectively as those who are engaged in transcendental bliss by serving the lotus feet of Lord, uprooting the deep grown desire of for future activities. So, Gyanis cannot uh, attain this transcendental bliss because there is tendency. They are Gyanis are basically on their own. There is no shelter of Krishna. There is no shelter of Guru. There is no shelter of association of devotees. So there is always uh, a fear of falling down. So sense control is not guaranteed there, and that's why they cannot uh, actually engage in serving the lotus feet of the Lord. So the first thing what we have to do is we have to uh, surrender to the spiritual master who will guide us exactly how to basically serve the lotus feet of the Lord. Second thing, Prabhupada writes, owing to his complete knowledge in self-realization, he always remains in trance. So how? There is a analogous example given. So self-realized person giving up all the material desires and everything, uh, how he meditates on Lord. So darshana dhyana samsparsher matsya kurma vihangamaha swani apatyani pushnanti rathaham api padmaja. Three examples are given that by vision, by meditation, and by touch, only do the fish, tortoise, and the birds maintain their offspring. Similarly, do I also, O Padmaja. So we have seen that fish, fish when they lay eggs, they if some sort of they lay near the shore actually when there are some plants which are deep, which are actually in the half water. So they lay eggs on the leaves or some branches, huge, like 100. And then what is given darshana. They keep on looking at that them by vision. By vision, they provide the heat and the eggs are slaughtered. Tortoise, what they do? They lay eggs on the shore under the sand, and they live in the sea, and they meditate on the eggs, and they they fructify. This is the fact. And so birds actually, how the birds give heat by sparsha. Birds sit on the eggs. So this is how their way of sort of maintaining their offspring. So what is he saying? Similarly, do I also? So my vision, meditation, and touch, but everything I should be in. I mean, I should be I should grow in spiritual practice. I should be always in touch with you. Vision, meditation, and touch. So now we are in the material world, but actually. by a thought. It is said that, Hey Radhe, Hey Brajadevi, Kecha Lalite, Shad Goswami in Vrindavan, what they say? They don't say, I have seen Krishna or I have seen Radharani. No. They say, where are you, Krishna? Where are you, Radharani? You know, and that gives them more happiness than being with Radha and Krishna. So, remembrance of Krishna is a situation more hankered by a devotee, and they get more pleasure than being face to face with Krishna. So, simply by thinking about Krishna, a devotee can actually elevate himself to God, Goloka. Just like here, tortoise was giving meditation. And what to speak of that? In that situation, he doesn't feel the pangs of material miseries. That is Brahma Nirvana. Because there is no tadatmya, there is no connection between the soul and body. So, can somebody give any example of a devotee has no, who doesn't feel any pang, he didn't feel any pang, but he was in ecstasy? Yes. Srila Haridas Thakur, taken. He was been beaten in 22 marketplaces. Oh, by the big, wrestlers, Chabuk. The entire body was actually red, but he was in a bliss chanting Hare Krishna Mantra because he was not in the external situation. Yes. The recent movie that came out, Sambhaji, something similar. That is different. We will discuss that later. That's not connected. So what I'm saying is, um, so devotee, by just thinking of Lord, he can be in the association of Lord, and he may not feel any pangs or material miseries, because just the remembrance of Lord is more than being with the Lord, right? That is the situation. So these are the qualities of the self-realized person, and then he can actually release the higher taste. Now in 27 and 28, Krishna speaks about the means of Ashtanga Yoga for liberation. So till now we have seen somebody. So, so although it is written that Brahma Nirvanam, Aham Brahmasmi, the self-realized person who is in the actually comes into the stage of soul. I am soul. I am not been affected by the external sense pleasure, sense control, everything. But still, now Krishna is actually giving the entire gamut of spiritual transcendental processes, the Jnana, Ashtanga, then Buddhi Yoga also, Bhakti Yoga. So sixth chapter is Ashtanga Yoga. So this is prelude to Ashtanga Yoga. What is that? 27 and 28. So Ashtanga Yoga is actually what? That yogi actually meditates on the Vishnu from within Paramatma, for liberation. So this is the second stage of for absolute truth, realization of second stage. What is that? Paramatma, you know. But the problem is when yogi meditates on Vishnu form, Paramatma, he gets siddhis, 8 type of siddhis, and that siddhis may be his, maybe the reason why he could fall down. Because the siddhis attracts him to actually enjoy the higher pleasures of other, Bhur, Bhugas, Marlok, Tapalok, Ganalok, Brahmalok, like that. Because he has, with that Shad Chakra Yoga, he can actually, that we have seen, right now not we have seen, the Dakshinayana and Uttarayana. He knows how to, when to leave the body. And with from the Brahmarandra, he can take himself anywhere within the Brahmanda, of course. He can't go beyond. If he can go beyond, only when he has actually realized, he has developed some service attitude to Vishnu and Paramatma. And that is also very rare. But mostly what will happen? Siddhi. So for yogis, it is very difficult to actually remain sober with the siddhis. Naturally, what will happen will actually actuate that. Okay, let me see this. Anyway, so but for Kali Yuga, that's not the basically the process for liberation. I mean, recommended. It's not possible for anybody. So the text says, "Sparshan krutvar bahirbahyam chakshustevantare bhuvo pranapano samay krutva samo krutva nasabhyantara charino यतेन्द्रिय मनोबुद्धिर मुनिर मोक्ष परायण विगत इच्छा भय क्रोधो यह सदा मुक्त एव स." So the process is there. So we know now later we'll see yama niyama, so what not to do, what to do. Yama niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, and dhyan dharana samadhi. Dharana dhyan samadhi. Because dharana should be fixed. Then do the dhyan on that dharana. Then achieve the samadhi, focus, complete absorption in that. So shutting all external sense object, that is pratyahar. Senses, oh, I want to see something, I want to hear. Bring that senses from the sense object. Keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between two eyebrows. Suspending the inward and outward breath within the nostrils. Pranayam. Hmm. And thus controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence. The transcendentalist aiming at liberation becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. One who is always in this state is certainly liberated. So, Prabhupada read, being engaged in Krishna consciousness, one can immediately understand one's spiritual identity. And then one can understand the Supreme Lord by means of devotional service. When one is when one is well situated in devotional service, one comes to transcendental position, qualified to feel the presence of Lord in the sphere of one's activity. So this particular position is called liberation in Supreme. So we don't have to meditate like this. Immediately we start serving Krishna, knowing our actual identity, that I am eternal servant of Krishna. That immediately gives us the feeling of presence of Lord in our activity. Because our activity is main focus of our activity is what? What is our main focus of any service? Huh? Krishna's pleasure. Again, not that I will get some credit, I will get some the position or some garland. No, no. The entire focus should be, oh, this I am doing this for Krishna's pleasure. So how can I do it more better? That is should be our focus. And that way we will feel the presence of Krishna in our service. We don't have to sit like that or do anything, restrain everything like that. This yoga practice helps one become free from all kinds of fear and anger. The feel presence of Supreme Soul, transcendental situation. In other words, Krishna consciousness is the easiest process. So these eight Ashtanga Yoga, Prabhupada writes that is not for this yoga. Krishna consciousness is very easiest actually. So that's why he said, Bhoktaram Yagya. So if you want to have a peace, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Surudam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Rachati. If you want uh, actual peace, if you want to experience peace, then you should know these three things. Bhoktaram Yajnatapasa, the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities is Krishna. Second thing is Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. He is the supreme Lord of all planets and demigods. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. So naturally, if somebody has the power to control Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, and he is the beneficiary of all the sacrifices and austerities. He is the enjoyer. That means he must be cruel in the sense dominator. You know, all. Naturally, somebody. No, but third thing is he is well-wisher of all living entities. Although he is the enjoyer and controller, but still he thinks on behalf of his dependents. Or how can I pick him up? How can I best help him? So he is a Suradam Sarva Bhutana. Not only human beings. He thinks about the all because Mame Vamso Jiva Lokas Jiva Bhutasana. Everybody is a part and parcel. My part and parcel. So if we know this, then he attains peace from the pangs of material misery. That is actually the peace formula. So peace formula will be asked. So most of the people thinks what? Bhoktaram Ekasana. Who is Bhokta? I am the Bhokta. That's why there is no peace. Sarvalokamation. One day I will become Sarvalokam. Not now. I am not there, but one day will. Even Mayavadi also thinks. You know? Not, I am not Narayan now, but Namo Narayan. That means after Mukti will become Narayan. So I will become Sarvalokamation. And nobody actually is Suradam Sarva Bhutana other than Krishna. I mean, of course, Krishna's expansions are there, but the Jiva we are talking about, Jiva. So Jiva will always have, unless he becomes pure devotee, he will always have a thought, the false pride. I am better. And how can somebody uh, become more powerful than me? So it is like always a comparative thought will go on. So this is what is the fifth chapter, Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. We have finished this. So this was the last section. Any question you have?